do a video, he jumps off and knocks the camera over. Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 7:33 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Saturday the 23rd of April.
Alexa, the weather.
In Worcester, it's 12 degrees Celsius with partly sunny skies. Today, you can expect lots of wind with a high of 15 degrees and a low of 8 degrees.
Right guys, so I never ever want to wake up miserable or be miserable or anything like that. I'm just telling you what happens during my day and what goes on, and you won't believe it, but it does. So, yesterday afternoon, my neighbour upstairs came back, parked his Audi outside my window. He got out of the car, he had Stella Artois, a box of Stella Artois. He came upstairs with his kids. I was in my flat by myself, right? I'm telling you how it is. I'm not against the guy upstairs. I don't know whether something's happening to him as well as me, but I'm just telling you as it is. Later on in the evening, I went into Plenty of Fish. I'd had a message from somebody on Plenty of Fish, and they sent, when I looked at the guy's profile, the profile looked like the man's nose upstairs. The man upstairs has got a prominent nose. So this guy that sent me messages had a big nose holes, a really big prominent nose. My nose is small, and I'm a female. So I don't think I look ugly. I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I think I'm pretty fit for 53, and I don't think I look 53 either. And I am a woman. So it always goes down to, I get questioned about my sex life by people. I got questions by my sex life by this so-called gentleman. I don't even know if it's women or girls mucking about being stupid. And then I got asked, where would I like to have sex? Do I wear stockings and suspenders again? And, you know, I'm a woman. Why not sometimes wear stockings and suspenders? Yesterday I wore a blue pair of tights. What's wrong with that? A woman wearing tights. Anyway, later on I was getting ready to start again. Play up when there's a camera. So later on I was getting ready to take Max out for a walk, like I normally do during the evening, and I'd never seen this white car before. And I saw it twice yesterday, and it parked outside my window, this white car, and there were some giggly women out there. This one woman had long hair right down her back, and I've cut mine short, haven't I? Ish. And they were giggling outside my window, this white car with kids in it, and two women giggling outside my window whilst I was getting this Plenty of Fish messages. So I looked out the window at them, one of them stared at me, and then I went back in, because they was making a load of noise outside my bedroom window. I had the bedroom window open. So I then took Max out for a walk. I covered the noise upstairs with the television set and put it on fairly loud to cover it up, because it's always noisy. Walked around Common Creek Wharf, fairly quiet. Walked on to the fields. I had a lot of cars flashing their really bright headlights in my eyes, really, really fluorescent lights in my eyes. I walked onto the field, and the guy with the pub dogs was on there with a big woman. So he was walking around the field with a woman, And this guy had asked me on Plenty of Fish, he said he liked sex outdoors. So I was just walking normally around the fields, and the guy with the pug dogs opposite, he's right opposite my window, they can see right across. He was on the field with this big woman, so it was about 3 or 4 dogs, and him and a big woman, and he'd gone down a hill, and he looked like he was picking dog shit up down the trench with a black dog down there, right? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Black dog picking dog shit up. I ignored them, and I walked around, carried on doing what I was doing, and it may have been a Chinese lady, because this dog came bounding over to Max, showing its teeth. I wasn't scared of it. Basically it came over to Max and started bounding, circling Max. And Max just sniffed it, and the dog sniffed Max. It's attention seeking, Max is, because I've got the camera on. Anyway, the dog bounded, circled around Max, and then it eventually called it off. No one apologised, no one came over and got the dog away. She just was right down the bottom, and the dog bounded off. Carried on, and another person came on the field, and chap, and in the morning there'd been a chap with a hood over his head, and I'd been taking an Adidas bag out, so this guy had a hood over his head and a little backpack, a little bag on the side in the morning. Got home, and I went back into the bedroom to check this Plenty of Fish messages, and I could smell weed wafting in through the window. So I don't know how long the weed had been wafted in through the window again. Weed, and I shut the windows, and I came in to the living room, and I put BBC 4 on, and a documentary with all the Queen, members of Queen, talking about Freddie Mercury and the gig they did in support of Freddie Mercury and AIDS. It was very interesting. I saw Roger Taylor on there, Brian May, and Queen and that. I saw Paul Young, and everybody had got older. And Paul Young was one of the musicians that I listened to when I was in my teens and early 20s, and he's got all old and white with a beard. So I watched that, and I just then, potted around a bit, and I went to bed. There was people having takeaways. When I came back from the field, there was a man with a helmet over his head, like a delivery driver. You could smell takeaways in the flats. Food coming into the flats. And when I went out of the flats, there was people hovering by the lift. And there are cameras in the lift, and there's cameras by the side of the lift. So what happens is, when weed comes into my flat, it leaves a stale smell, a stench. So I spent all night with the window shut, and I've woken up with the smell of stale weed and a headache. It's a drug smell, you can smell it. I walk into my flat, and it smells of drugs, second-hand drugs. And this is my life every single day, as it was at Lansdowne Court, where they smoke drugs. Adults smoking drugs when they've got children, smoking weed when they've got kids. And it's really potent. It comes down through the window, and it goes all through the flat, and it makes me feel sick. something like that, weed is going to make it worse. The last time I spoke to my mother, I was mentioning the weeds. All I can smell in my flat is weed. And she said, oh, you have to come up then. No, this is my home, and I will deal with this. And if I have to spend every day in this flat with a headache, so be it. I spent 99% out of my time at Lansdowne Court out of my head. All drug, mostly, hardly any of them went to work. The ones that did were okay, but the rest of them just sat in their flats smoking drugs. Taking and smoking drugs. And I thought this was a new start, and I just used to say, it's like I've got my ex living above me, smoking the weed, and it's coming down below. It's just upsetting. I thought this was going to be a brand new start, a brand new place, but then, you know, this government is crazy. It's just crazy. There's no policing. The police don't do anything at all. The country's in a terrible state. People are doing what they like, and it's going to have a detrimental effect on the next generation. The children that we're bringing into the world now with just weed smokers, drug users and weed smokers. Not every parent, but parents that haven't got money and they you know, lost their jobs, they get the weed joint out. But do you think it's fair on children? Do you think it's fair smoking drugs near kids? Because I don't, but there you are. I am now going to get on with the rest of my day by myself, trying to cope with this situation by myself, with no help and support. See you later.